Hi, I'm Emani and Heleema, and I'm back with episode 16 from my novel, Amberstone Agent Zero, Iraq, The Promised Land. Now, we left off, uh, Heleema and Emani and Habid were at Rasheed's palace, and Habid had left to take Rhodesia to the Libyan border, and he left Emani and Heleema there, terrified that they were going to be raped by Rasheed again. So the girls were in their bed, and they were so afraid, but so afraid to fall asleep and too tired to stay awake. So they fell into a deep sleep, and they just were out. They were actually so exhausted, from all the worrying and the traveling and then the bombs going off in the caves that they were in. They just didn't sleep well. So that bath in that vanilla cinnamon pool that they had in the harem really knocked them out. The next morning arrives and they're being shaken, awake. And when they open their eyes, they see it's Habid. He's back. And he says, "We got to go." So what happened? So we got to go. The Americans are back again. Rasheed fled to his bunker. So we have to leave. I have a place, that we can go now. So they get their things, and he has an AK-47 rifle, and they exit the palace, and they get into a car, his Jeep, and the people are running and screaming through the streets because the Americans are dropping bombs. Well, actually, the NOO. I keep saying, well, the New World Order is the new America. And they're dropping bombs, and the people are just running, but they're not bombing Rasheed's palace. For some reason, they want to leave it standing. I don't know. I guess, they're going to use it as a fort once they defeat him. So Habid and Emani and Heleema get into the Jeep, and they drive all the way out in the desert. It's deserted, and there's a stone house there. And so Emani says, "Well, who lives here?" I said, "Well, the family that lived here went to Egypt. They escaped, and so the house is ours now, and everything in it. The same way we did in Beirut. We left everything there for the next tenant." So they get out, and it's a stone, like a white beige kind of stone house, and it has dark maroon curtains. You can't see in the windows. So they go in, and it's kind of rustic, and it has a wooden chair and a stove and a water pump. And so he takes them. He says, "Well, I want to show you something." And he takes them into the master bedroom, and there's a nice big bed. That's not their room. Their room is the next room, where there's 2 beds in it. But there's a chest at the end of the bed. And he opens the chest, and there's all these, there's telephones, cell phones, there's, what would you call it, bottles, medals, all these things that are in there that can create an IED. So Emani said, "Well, what's all of this stuff? This junk in here." It's like water bottles. He said, this is what we're going to create weapons from to kill the NOO. These are explosives. So Emani says, "Well, I can't kill anybody." She starts getting sick and gagging, and She said, I can't do it. He said, yeah, we're going to blow their arms off. We're going to blow their legs off, heads off. Every time they come through this desert, we're going to set an IED for them. So Emani starts almost gagging. I can't do it. I can't kill anybody. And so Habib says, you better learn how to do it, because you're not going to be able to survive. So you're going to have to kill. And Heleema, you're going to have to do the same. And don't encourage her to do different. And so he says, I'm going to teach you. And that's what we're here for. We're going to bomb them at the pass. When we see tanks and we see soldiers coming, we'll set the IEDs. So they get comfortable in the house, and the two girls in their room. And they get pretty comfortable. And as the days go on, Habib teaches them how to make an IED. And they set traps. And the American soldiers, the New World Order soldiers actually, drive their tanks over them. And that's it. Or step on one. They blow up platoons. And no one suspects it's them. Because after they plan it, they run and they hide. And then if they see soldiers on the road, they pretend, that they're civilians and they're starving, and the soldiers give them candy bars and gum and canned goods, whatever extras that they have, they give it to them, not knowing that they're the culprits that are setting the IEDs. So, they're in the promised land. Now, they thought, I'm going to go to Iraq and we're going to live happily ever after and we're going to be at peace and we're going to have the best life. It didn't turn out that way for them. And this is what they're doing. They're cold-hearted killers. That's what Habib has made his daughters into. Now, on the other side of the scale, they still think about Rasheed. And they're like, we're not stupid. We're not dumb. We're going to get him. We're just going to bide our time and we're going to get him just as we're going to kill the New World Order men for Adara's death. So as time goes on, Emani starts getting sick. She starts having morning sickness. She starts getting tired. And she's not understanding what's happening to her. And so now she doesn't know, if she ate something, because every time she eats something, her stomach blows up. After she finishes eating, it goes back down. So she doesn't know, well, maybe it's the food, or the water I'm drinking. Maybe, the NOO contaminated the water and, we're drinking the water and that's why I'm sick. She doesn't know what it is. So as time goes on, her stomach begins to, grow. So now she's thinking, oh my God, maybe it's a tumor, but I'm afraid to say anything, And so she doesn't say anything because she feels if I say anything to Habib, he wants me to be a stone cold killer. If I show any kind of sickness or weakness, it's going to make him angry. And she doesn't want to make Habib angry because she feels, you know, if I don't do what my father wants me to do, he'll kill me. That's the way Heleema and her both feel. Like he's so bent on revenge that they have to follow his orders, you know. So tune in for episode 17, IED, to find out what happens, what's wrong with Emani. Does she have a tumor? Does she have food poisoning? Or is it the job that she's doing? Sometimes when you're setting destruction for others, you yourself get sick. And she's not as strong as Heleema is. Heleema is like a tomboy, healthy, no emotion. She's got her emotions in check. She's cool, she's calm, she's cold. And Emani is like the opposite. She's like, okay, I'm just doing this because Habid is forcing me to do this. But she doesn't know what's wrong with her. Does she have a tumor? Does she have cancer? Is it the dust from the bombs? Sometimes that can contaminate you, get into your blood system, the shrapnel, breathing the fumes. So she just doesn't know. So tune in to episode IED.